feel like they put it out all on the line there. And let's put it out on the line now.
Oh, Uncle's saying they're going to have a very bad time. For one of the players, that is true, because this is an elimination round. But I can't imagine ever playing Zelda and having a bad time.
I never have a bad time either, and it looks like we got all crystals in the light world, with Eastern being one of our red crystals.
I think I saw a red crystal up at Hera, so if that's correct, that would be 2 red crystals in the light world.
Oh, so we may have some Fat Fairy in play. This is intriguing already.
I think Hera was the crystal and Eastern was just a regular crystal, but still, all 3 crystals in the light world. It gives you a lot of confidence about, having an easier dark world with, potentially not needing the Canis Mare, which of course they just got.
Phantom Ryu would be pleased that they've gotten it twice in a row now, and getting the mirror, that is going to shorten their escape time by a lot. We are looking at a very quick escape here.
Mirror escape is amazing. It's so much fun. You get to rescue Zelda, and then bam! I can just imagine the look on her face, like, how the heck did we get back here?
Yeah, it's definitely better to use that for that than looking at your pretty self, because you can't do anything gameplay-wise looking at your pretty self.
So Rocky did post that clip from yesterday's race titled Super Hippo Luck. And I got to say, Hippo, I don't know what it is about Hippo, but he does seem to have that reputation as just being insanely lucky. I've played Hippo many, many times in weekly races and the daily community races. And it's, if you see 100 people in a race, there's a good chance Hippo's going to win. I don't know what it is. He always seems to find the right routes.
Maybe I can ask him to loan me some of his luck sometime, because every time I take gambles, I always get it paid off in big reds or single arrows.
Yeah, he just dominates. The only reason that you can say that he lost, versus Ben is just that Ben has several more years of experience in this game. Ben's execution is just absolutely perfect. Every single room, every single step, not a pixel wasted. And it's a second here and a second there, but that adds up to minutes in the end.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every little time you can save, too, is going to help out Hippo. So I think the good advantage that Hippo has is that he knows Ben. So that's what helped him out in the second match. And if he can play to that, he's going to have a very big advantage right here.
Exactly. Making decisions that your opponent isn't going to make, such as walking back to the front of escape when you have the mirror. That's a decision that Ben is unlikely to make. So good play, Hippo.
Yes. Sometimes it is easy to forget that, oh, hey, mirror, I've done it before. We have an item, you can use it, and, oh, hey, whoops. So
maybe on the scenic route, he kills an extra green guard and he gets the bomb, and that's a bomb that Ben didn't get because he didn't kill the green guards.
That's a good point too. None of our runners have gotten bombs yet, so that could be Hippo's own personal choice there to try to find one.
Yeah, Ben is killing the ropes in the back here. Hippo is going for that green guard. Oh, and he gets the 8-bomb pack. Hippo luck.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say, what were we just talking about here?
What the heck? Super Hippo luck. Oh my god.
Does he have a relative that's a 4-leaf clover? If so, I want to meet them.
Hippo wins all the lottery.
We'll see if that's reflected in his rupee count later.
Well, Ben is, he's killing all these rats. He's killed many, many more enemies, but they're in different prize pools. So green guards can have those 8-bomb packs, and rats might have absolutely nothing other than we get seen several full magic pots, not a bomb.
So if there's something vital here in the back of escape that Ben needs, that's actually going to put Hippo in the lead in the early going.
Yeah, as long as the glove isn't back here, this is really easy to get back to later on. You know, you just go to Sanctuary, you lift the rock. Um, Ben, you can stop farming now because you can't get back down there, even if you find a bomb. But with Hippo Lock, this is probably going to be both gloves and the Moon Pearl.
Well,
I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, we're about to see right now, and there's the boots. So dash away home.
Boots, very nice to have. That was the clutch item that we didn't see Hippo picking up last game.
Okay, so there's bottles. So we'll have to see if Sick Kid has something to see if it pays off here. And Bonk Rocks has Big Red.
Yeah, that is going to be delayed Hippo Lock, but I still expect it to pull through. We'll see some big progression item on the bottle, or we'll see some boss fight where using that blue potion really makes a difference.
I'm still hype anyway. I am filled with a hype of 1,000 good hype caves now, so nothing less right now.
The Sanctuary is the place where you don't want to use the mirror, because it'll spit you out at the front of Hyrule Castle until you've walked out of here at least once.
And then once you get it, I think it's one of the quickest ways out.
Yeah, if you have the boots, then changing menu items is a bit of a pain, but walking out is definitely good to switch to the mirror. We did get a look at the lumberjack item on Ben's side, and oof, there's our first gloves.
Yeah, so we're going to see Ben going back to that pretty soon at some point, I would imagine.
Oh, and the freaking hook shot. Man, Skull One's paying off.
Oh, man. A lost what I'm telling you, man. It's they can pretty much get into Death Mountain now. I don't think either of the players are going to need the lamp for that one, so I expect to see them go up there pretty quick here.
They can definitely get up there. They don't need the lamp. It's a lot easier to navigate with a sword, but I think you're right. It's entirely possible that we'll see that a little bit sooner than later. The lumberjack check is interesting because we saw both players do it. A lot of people will put that off until you have the boots now. Ben is one of those people that likes to get that check regardless, likes to have that information. But with the boots being in Sanctuary, it really didn't matter in this particular game.
Yeah, every little advantage I can get knowledge-wise from me, I'm always wanting to check it. And there's blue mail, because knowledge is power in a race like this. And red mail, what is this?
This is a safety seed.
Safety first, indeed, and there's a heart for extra safety.
So, no doubt with those gloves, Ben is going to go back and pick up that bottle in the back of Escape, probably after his first save and quit. And it's an easy thing to knock out. Might do South Shore first, and maybe pick up the Titan's Mitts, hoping to route in King's Tomb at the same time. Either way, it's not going to be that big of a delay. Really, really want to know what the Sick Kid's holding for us, though.
Well, the Well's holding a sword for us, which is, that's some great progression right there.
That's going to make that old man sequence break a little bit easier. I would still be surprised to see anyone go up to Death Mountain before at least doing the dam and the mini Moldorm cave. There's so many items down there. Although Hippo, he's taking gambles, so if it's an unlikely play, we might see Hippo make it.
Yeah, and they can get up to Tower of Hera, which we do know is a crystal dungeon, so that's one they can knock right out of the way there. Albeit probably with a little trouble if they don't have the hammer with just a fighter sword in play, but both of these players can totally knock it out.
Yeah, it's always a little bit dangerous going into Hera without a fire source. You might not even be able to progress upstairs, or you'll be leaving an item behind. Either way, it's probably not a risk that you'd want to take 10 minutes in with so much still open to you.
Yeah, that's a good point too. It is easy to forget, which I have done, that you do need a fire source in the basement of Hera. So it's kind of an unknown, like being boots locked from desert.
So here's our bottle check. Sick Kid, are you holding major progression? Oh, Ice Rod. All right.
Potentially.
So I'm going to say that's an 8 out of 10 for Hippo Luck. It's ultimately not giving him anything Ben's not going to get, but he did save a little bit of time.
And I mean, if we have Turtle Rock as a required dungeon, that Ice Rod, finding it early is always a sigh of relief. That thing could be anywhere, and many races come down to who can find that Ice Rod first.
True, and actually, going back here to the back of Escape is still faster than walking Zelda out and not using the mirror, so it's still time lost for Hippo.
Even then, I think Hippo has really kept on pace pretty good. So, I mean, they've kind of evened themselves out, I think.
Yeah, if the Sick Kid was something that you needed more immediately than the Ice Rod, then there might have been some advantage in having that right now. Ben, he's going to rod in later with something else. But if that was something that he had to backtrack for, like if that was the boost, then that would have been really big because it's going to be a while before Ben heads back to Kakariko. So nice hook shot clip there. I like that. We saw the mirror trick from Hippo and the hook shot trick from Ben.
And 300 rupees, so Zora money is not going to be too much of a worry now.
Storm Cave, a very logical next step with 5 items, only 2 screens away. Question is, where do we go after here? We can do Ice Rod Cave. It's a little bit out of the way for 1 item. Without the Moon Pearl, probably not going to want to fake flipper this early in the game.
There's our lamp, so Death Mountain is completely in play now. And that's all that really had, just the lamp there, but the lamp is pretty helpful. They have a fire source now. That's always useful.
I think that definitely makes the Death Mountain play a lot more appealing. You're going to be able to do that Hera basement now, so you'll be able to get both items as well as the crystal, guaranteed. In addition to all of the Light World items, Paradox Cave, Spiral Cave, not a bad play. Both of them check an Ice Rod Cave, though.
I don't mind. That's kind of something I end up doing too, and then I like to fake flipper to check the Lake Hylia Island and Hobo, so that could be a play they'd be making too.
They have the boots, so they can buffer a fake flipper and get to Hobo much quicker. Hippo is doing the buffered fake flipper setup right now, as is Ben, so it looks like they'll both either be going to Hobo and doing a save and quit, or maybe hitting up to Zora. Ben has the money, but Hippo is a little short. All right, so this is interesting. We get some diversions here. Hippo is doing a fake flipper with the buffer, so he'll actually be able to get the item on Zora's ledge if that's something that he wants. Ben, not going to be able to pick that up. We'll just get these items and Zora itself.
And with the book, Ben can get in and full clear desert now, which is also a crystal.
So just a heart piece there on the ledge. This particular gamble not paying off for Hippo, so it's a Hippo luck fail. But he's getting the Hobo, so nothing on there either.
And 50 rupees an arrow from Zora. Ooh, is he? Oh, here we go. Hippo is, looks like he's backtracking to do that. Very nice.
Well, yeah, Ben got that item, and Hippo's luck was able to kick in, and he knows that he no longer needs that buffered water walk, so he's just going to save some time and run there. That makes a lot of sense.
This is the kind of action I love seeing this late in the tournament right here. It is so exciting.
So good job, Ben, reading the sign instead of throwing it at the enemy. Nice few seconds there lost.
He saw the sign. And it opened up his eyes. He saw the sign.
I love 90s music. I'll admit. So, book is also nice because you're able to check the ether tablet while you're up here. You can't pick up the item without the Master Sword, but you'll at least know whether it's something you need to come back for. And there's no better time than doing that while you're with Hera. Hippo doesn't have really any other great choices besides, the Eastern area, Aegina's Cave, these one-offs. Might find Dark World Axes over in Eastern, but Death Mountain, I think, is the place to go for item density.
No question about it. And especially without the bow, too, it doesn't make Eastern as lucrative or as appealing a choice. So I don't blame them going for Death Mountain.
So, Green Pendant Turtle Rock. That's a little scary.
Did I see the other red crystal in Ice Palace?
Red Crystal Ice Palace, that means that we're at least not going to see the hammer locked behind the Pyramid Fairy. It's one other thing that we can eliminate Aga for. Don't need it for the hammer, and we don't need it for the Lumberjack item, so it'd only be for primary Dark World access at this point. Aga's not looking so hot.
Always a relief to find out early on you don't have to do Aga 1.
So, problem with a seed like this is, so far it's been fairly obvious where you want to go. The fake flippers, both players utilize them. Hippo really needs to be in a situation where he can make some decision that Ben is not going to make that's going to pay off. If it's just the exact same routes and following in Ben's footsteps, Ben will save a second here and there, and it'll add up.
Yeah, Hippo's going to want to hope for some route divergence here, so we're going to have to see where this opens up, or if it's going to be a fairly linear seed in and of itself.
So one thing that's really nice to see, and you don't see too much in this particular seed because the runners both have boots, but Ben's been using the hook shot a lot for navigation. When you only have a few tiles to move, you don't want that, the 4 frames or so that it takes for the boots to spin up. I think if you're moving less than 4 tiles, the boots are a time loss. But the hook shot moves you at twice your walking speed, and it's those little tiny optimizations that add up. Hippo hasn't pulled out the hook shot yet, just sticking with the mirror.
And Ben's sticking it to Trolldorm there, and we have our first crystal about 18 minutes in, and Hippo's not that far behind either.
Hera, pretty common crystal to be your first one. 30 frames for the dash start. Thank you, Twitch chat.
And there's still an item in the basement and a key from Trolldorm, so Trolldorm's dying breath it is.
And they're absolutely having that lamp, makes the difference here, because they would not be able to get to this basement item otherwise.
Let's see if Hippo Luck can continue with boss fights here. We call him Trolldorm for a very big reason, and he does not disappoint a lot of the time.
It is an annoying fight with only the fighter sword. This is, of course, the vanilla fight. You have the 6 slashes, then you have to deal with that panic mode. If you can come in here with the Master Sword, then at least you can do sword spins, temper sword. You get the gold damage spins, and hammers. Is just the 3 quick hits. But the fighter sword is no fun at all.
But luck holds out for Hippo. He gets his first crystal about a minute later, so it's still early on, so it's still very much anyone's game, though.
Yeah, fighter sword spins don't actually do. It's not like Master Sword spins will do temper damage. Tempered sword spins will do butter damage, but fighter sword spins don't do master slash damage. Developers didn't want the first sword to be too powerful.
But I believe, doesn't it still do some added damage, if I remember right? Not full Master Sword damage, but a little bit extra?
I don't think it's. I know it's not full damage. There could be an incremental improvement.
Yeah, I've just seen it when slashing the green guard, so that's why I was curious.
So, Hippo also doing the basement here. This is one of probably the first really obvious location for him to gamble on. Ben finding the hammer in the bottom 2 chests of Paradox Cave. That's a nice find. 1 item away from Dark World.
Just gotta find out where that darn Moon Pearl is. Well, it's not in Paradox Cave, but I don't know. Health doesn't hurt, but definitely not what Ben or Hippo are gonna want.
Yeah, it's a good location for it to be, though. A common location that both runners are going to check, so you don't have to worry about the hammer being a troll item in this particular seed. We're running out of Light World locations here. We just have, so I don't know, where is Hippo going? I guess he wants to climb up the mountain. This is an interesting route. Oh, he doesn't have the hammer, obviously. Duh, my fault.
Yeah, but he'll find it soon enough, and I wouldn't be surprised if later on some anger pulls come out, but not during this time of a match.
Well, I was confused about his routing, but I was the one who was confused. Hippo confused me. But yeah, if you have the hammer, it's nice you can fall down Spiral Cave and then come back up. But this was their only way to get over here. And just a big flying Spiral Cave. There's the hammer he was looking for.
Oh, and Ben, not a fruitful swim there for Ben, but that's okay. To Eastern we go.
Well, it does find the item there is just a $5 on the island. So no, it's one more location we can cross off the map. Mini Moldorm is really trolling Hippo today.
Well, they are the offspring of Trolldorm, so not surprising there. There's our Moon Pearl.
Well, without the mitts, the only thing that they really could have done would have been Spike Cave. If they had picked up some invincibility item. At the mitts, they could have done the Dark Death Mountain as well. Finding the Moon Pearl late there really doesn't make any difference on the routing.
Nah, not at all, but sometimes it can be a little bit of a tricky find in the Light World, depending on how the rando rolls you, so... Alright, is it Hyper Gripe Cave? Let's find out.
Gripe Cave.
Wah, wah, wah.
So, once again, they're... diversions from Hippo. I was going to say they're taking the same routes, but I think he is going to maybe check a Genos Cave, or maybe do Desert.
Hey, wouldn't be a bad idea. It is out of logic, but hey, if you can fully complete a dungeon, why not?
Well, no, he has the book, a fire source, the glove. This is a logical full clear. He has the boots even.
Oh yeah, and Mire is a pendant dungeon, so you don't necessarily might have that option to do Mire and then warp to Desert. So that's not a bad idea at all.
This is the first example, I think, of what we're seeing is him trying to guess where Ben is less likely to go. The Hype Cave play, that's the fairly standard first place you go in Dark World. The Southern Dark World route with the mirror. Ben, you're able to do K45. You're not going to leave that as an orphan location. End the digging game, fairly standard generic route. Desert, I think, like you said, people will save it until they get the flute, and they can mirror into the back. It's the more atypical play.
And I think going into desert, that's where it paid off for him last time too, because I think that's where he ended up getting that bow, right?
That was it was right in that chest you just opened there.
No.
Ben doing a
Nice.
standard M in the digging game. So without the Titan's Myths, you're not able to hit directly into the Village of Outcasts. But at least with the mirror, you can save some time. He's going to probably check Sickit here and pick up his Ice Rod.
And Compass on the Desert Pillar, so even if we didn't have the boots, it wouldn't have been Boots Lock Desert, so that would have been great news.
Yeah, and not really finding too much value here in Desert. Hippos checked all the items here in the front. We'll go kill Limbo and get an item there. He still has to check a Genus Cave, but then he'll be done in this area. It's a pretty quick area to clear.
Yeah, and he'll be one crystal ahead too of Ben, so that's something to have.
All right, chat, get your hype going. We get to find out, is Pedestal alive or is Pedestal dead? No doubt anymore. We get to find out Pedestal is dead. It is a shield.
Progressive shield. It's not something they're going to need. Nice insurance to have once you've built it up, but neither of our runners are really going to need it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of items that really could have been on the pedestal. Well, I mean, like bow could have been there, flippers could have been there. There's definitely major progression. But I think I probably would have cleared some more chests before I checked it.
I think that might have just been a gamble by Ben too, to get that knowledge of, hey, is it a ped seed or not? Because if Hippo hasn't checked it yet, he wouldn't know and would probably be searching all over the place. So that might have been a well-calculated gamble right there.
Well, just like the lumberjack check and reading the sign on the way up the Death Mountain, Ben likes to have that game knowledge. I like these ice rod strats that Hippo's using. Unfortunately, missed a few shots there, but the ice rod has the same magic consumption and damage as the fire rod. Moves a little slower, but it's a great alternative. If that is all you have. Down to 1 heart. Gotta be super careful now. Maybe use that potion.
I think he's still probably. Oh no, I was gonna say worry about it. Maybe take an extra hit, but Hippo don't gotta worry about that. But nothing really item-wise in Desert. But Crystal is the best progression of all.
That's a good point. He does have the red mail, so he could take another hit off those rocks. It would take him down to half a heart. I was thinking that as a green mail vanilla fight.
And that was still a pretty sweet too from Hippo, because we don't usually get to see the ice rod outside of Trinex, so that was a really cool fringe use of it.
Well, with Turtle Rock being a pendant, you will get an early, easy to find ice rod. That's the way that works.
But to get that Agina's cave check too, and it's just a big blue dabba-dee-dabba-die. Sorry, Hippo.
So I wouldn't say it was a gamble going to Desert. It was an area that you had to complete anyway. It might have been a little bit of a prioritization that would vary from what he expected Ben to do. Didn't really pay off in this case, but also not that big of a time loss.
Yeah, because Ben's going to have to go back and do Desert anyway, so just get it out of the way first. You can full clear it, why not? That's what I say.
Exactly. If you're doing it later on, you might save some time. Skipping a Genus Cave and the right side of Desert. So it's like I said, it's not a really significant loss.
And I like this idea from Ben here, checking out King's Tomb and probably Graveyard Ledge as well.
Yeah, this is our first check of the northern Darkworld area. He only went halfway through Skullwoods. No fire rod to open the back. a lot of people wouldn't even go into Skull Woods at all anymore at this point until they find the fire rod.
Yeah, Skullwoods and Eastern, which I see Hippo going into here. I try to wait until I have the items to full clear them. That's kind of a personal preference. Ether Medallion, probably not going to be required, as both of our medallion dungeons are pendant dungeons, so it's pretty much likely to be flavor at this point, but who knows?
Well, this is really interesting. Seeing the Eastern play, Hippo, he has that Moon Pearl now, so he has everything he needs for Dark World access, but he's dipping into a dungeon he knows he can't clear. At most, he can get 3 items here. Probably he'll find just 2, with an item being on Armos that he will not be able to get without the bow. But Hippo luck might kick in, and the bow will be in here.
That'd be exciting to see. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, if we find the bow in here, then he immediately can go down and do Palace of Darkness. He has everything he needs to clear that dungeon once he picks up the bow.
And even still, I don't think it'd be that much of a time loss. I mean, though, when you're playing somebody like Ben, you definitely want to have as much... you don't have a lot of leeway time, but if he does have to go back, I mean, do the pod and then warp back to Eastern and finish it off. It's not the worst play you can make if it doesn't work out for him.
Well, we just got the flippers there in the chess game and a sword in the brewery, so Village of Outcasts paying off very nicely.
That could also be where Hippo is going to, so that's definitely going to pay off. And with those flippers too, you have flippers, you have hammer, you have mirror, you have hookshot. Guess what's in Logic now?
Swamp Palace.
Bingo.
Swamp would be a really aggressive play. I'm trying to think this through. I don't know exactly like what the next item you really want to find. I mean, we don't need the flute, the seed, mushroom and powder, and both pendants, both medallions rather. We might not need them. Really, you just want the bow and the fire rod, right?
Yeah, for the most part, because you don't need to worry about many medallions. We've gotten a lot of stuff out of the way. I mean, it's we don't have a lot of stuff to a go mode here.
Well, Ben just found the Titan's Mitts in the first chest of not the first chest, the 4th chest of Thieves Town, pendant at Thieves Town, paying off again. Check those first 4 chests, ladies and gentlemen. So that also opens, that doesn't open up ice because he doesn't have the bombos or the fire rod still. But we're really only looking for, the bow and the fire rod for no mode.
The double-edged sword that could be too, if they end up finding fire rod first, that does open up Turtle Rock into having the bow in it. So they may be having to search a little bit harder than they expected to find that bow.
The bow is definitely a problem. It only blocks, 4 items in the entire game prior to Ganon's Tower. So, other than those 4 spots, it can be anywhere. And, that's what we saw in yesterday's race. Hippo sequence broke past the boots to find that bow, and he was a whole Ganon's Tower ahead. It's a weird gamble like that, that really makes a difference in Randomizer.
And Ben jumping into Swamp, the aggressive play, but you have everything you need, and he's more than capable of doing a Master Sword Argus. It's not that hard, so hey, why not? 6 items here too to find, so full clearing it might not be that bad of an option either.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call this the aggressive play at this point. I mean, it's a dungeon you can full clear. At a minimum, you do the back. I think they were talking about this yesterday, and they were saying that their threshold, Ben's threshold of whether or not he does the left side is if there's 2 items over there. If there's fewer than 2 items, then he'll skip left side and come back later. It's possible that you find all the items and the left side is just the map and the compass.
Kind of a small chance of it, but You know, you never know. Maybe we get that hippo lock if Ben doesn't full clear it, and hippo does, and gets that bow or fire rod earlier than Ben.
Left side swamp is one of those gambles that you can make and assume the player probably won't. But it's also really not a great play to make. So it's a lot of players are going to deprioritize it. Hippo is following through the standard Skullwoods checks. This is his first visit to Dark World. Can't progress into Skullwoods, but he'll probably pick up those key progression items, the flippers and the Master Sword in the Village of Outcasts. Hopefully for him, he'll also dip into Thieves Town and pick up those Titan's Mitts.
And it looks like he's doing that northern Dark World checks as well. Just a big red on Bumper Cave there.
So these races with Ben are the first races that I'd say are really have been a challenge for Hippo. He, if you look at his official Swiss score, it's 6-1. But I'm going to say that Hippo went 7-0, and I'm going to use my own logic for that because he was playing Jet in his last game. It didn't really matter. They had guaranteed progression, and he was just goofing off. Hippo being Hippo, and Jet walked right past him while he was just memeing on the last chest. So he threw that race. And he hasn't lost a bracket race, prior to playing Ben. So that's an amazing record.
Yeah, that just goes to show how really, really good Hippo is. So it's not just master student, but is definitely worthy opponent. And here we go, Ben, with Argus. Yeah, the only difference... Oh, I like this strat right here.
Very nice.
Yeah, Master Sword Argus, if you're just doing regular slashes, it's just going to be like 2 slashes instead of 1 with other swords. So it's kind of an annoying... It can be kind of annoying.
The Argus quick kill strats, probably one of my favorite strats in the entire game. Very difficult to do with the Master Sword. It's probably one of the hardest boss strats to do, regardless of what your gear is.
And Argus just does not want to be hit by that ice rod.
Oh, come on, Ben.
That's really putting the Arg in Argus right there, I'm telling you.
Yeah, Ben with what is this, a 7-cycle Argus fight?
Sometimes Argus can unexpectedly troll you. I've had it happen a few times, so that diagonal movement, it's really a kicker. And speaking of kickers, Hippo has his flippers.
Yeah, so to answer Vitorp's question in chat, no, I don't think Jet is a bad player. I actually watch his channel all the time. It was just hilarious to see him walk right past Hippo while Hippo's bombo-hissing the Moldorm 2 chest. So Hippo is self-inflicts his own harm.
That sounds painful, but that's going to be for another commentary.
Yeah, so Hippo going into Thieves Town. This is going to give him his Titan's Mitts and the first 4 chests. He does have the option to continue. Ben did not continue. And so one of the items here in Swamp was the Ren Meringue. Whatever you do, red comes back to you.
You're seeing red again. Come to think of it too, if Hippo does decide to full clear Thieves Town, that big chest has had a habit of having very major progression items in it. I've seen races won and lost coming from not checking that big chest, and Hippo getting his mitts on the mitts. But it's definitely one of those places that you probably don't want to leave unchecked for too long if you can.
Yeah, and you know, both players making fairly unlikely plays, or at least undesirable plays. You know, Ben is doing the left side swamp, and Hippo is doing the back of Pendant Thieves Town after picking up the mitts. This is a location that it's really unlikely Ben's going to come back to for a while. So if there's, I think it's also reasonable for Hippo to assume that Ben would have mirrored out after picking up those mitts. This is probably a good location to make your gamble.
I have a feeling that both are trying to out-psych each other. It's like Ben's like, what's Hippo gonna do and not do? And Hippo's like, what's Ben gonna do and not do? And so I'm curious to see who's gonna win in this battle of the wits here.
That's one thing that I'll say is, I started watching Ben back in like August or so after his Final Fantasy VII SGDQ, and what really impressed me was just everything he does is all about precision and consistency. I first saw him play Randomizer, and not like it wasn't all about the swag, it wasn't all about the the kick-ass strats. Although that Argus quick kill is a pretty swag strat, it was just about the consistency, and I think he follows his rule. If there's more than 2 items on left side swamp, you go there. If there's not, you don't. I don't think he's trying to metagame Hippo.
Where I kind of thought about it only because of just the one and one. Oh, look at that!
Oh my God!
Hippo luck.
Hippo luck paying off. That is progression.
Does he have a 5-leaf clover in his pocket? I'm pretty sure he does.
He has all the clovers. So, 1 item left on blind. At this point, you got payoff in the dungeon. You might as well finish it. Hippo does not yet know this is not a pedestal seed. He hasn't gone up there. For all he knows, the bow could still be on the pedestal. So, I think you definitely want to get blind done at this point. But that fire rod, wow.
What if Bo is on blind? If it is, I will laugh audibly on air.
Well, the thing is, like, the fire rod, if they find Bombos and that gives them their Ice Palace access, then the fire rod is only locking 2 locations in Skull Woods, Trinex, and potentially, and then the 2 items on the right side of Turtle Rock. So it's locks more than Bo does, but it still doesn't lock you that many locations.
But we're seeing that going deeper into Thieves Town is the definite play. Just some big red. Blind likes the cinnamony taste of it. And a blue pendant for a reward. Definitely, if you're going through Thieves Town on a pendant, I mean, it's definitely not the worst of dungeons. It's a pretty quick one overall. It's not like having to do a full clear of ice or swamp or something like that. So,
well, I think Hippo's got some really interesting choices now. I mean, Ben is going into desert. This is an area that Hippo's already done. This makes a lot of sense. Just go back and finish Skull Woods while you're here. But I would not be surprised at all if his next play is ice. It might not be that's not the most item dense place, but that fire rod, it paid off. Might as well get as much use of it as you can.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a crystal dungeon anyway, so I mean, heck, why not finish it? That's kind of one of my rules. If you have the stuff to full clear a dungeon, do it. And it's kind of my very Ben way of doing things, I guess.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. Hippo also has the option to go into Swamp Palace, so it might make sense to do maybe like you take the purple chest. He hasn't done the Southern Dark World route yet. Ben did that first. Hippo went directly into the north. So it could make sense. You take the the purple chest down, you check the Bombos tablet, you do all that, and then you head in the swamp, and then you head over to ice.
Speaking of Bombos.
Wow. Bombos is fire rod locked.
Does Hippo have a 6-leaf clover in his pocket?
I swear to God, he's got all the clovers. So, knowing that that is fire rod locked, I think you might even want to. I don't know. Does that make you want to prioritize Ice Palace or deprioritize it? Because all you're looking for really is the bow.
You know, the thing with the bow is too, you kind of mentioned it before, aside from like a few places, the bow really could be anywhere. So I wouldn't blame Hippo into kind of reading the seat a little bit and saying, hey, probably Ice Palace is going to be one of my next plays. So I would probably end up doing that. Or if I did Swamp Palace, I would definitely make Ice Palace my next maneuver. So we're going to have to see how Hippo routes it. He could do Southern Dark World in with that mix, so his routing is going to be really solid here.
Well, where the bow is, I think, is going to decide this race, because if Ben finds the bow, he'll go into Eastern, he'll go in the pod, he'll get those 2 crystals, and then he's going to find out that there's no Bombos and no Fire Rod there, and that might lead him back to Thieves Town. But Hippo, he can do Swamp, he can do Ice. And if he finds the bow in Ice, then he's in go mode. He can go mode pod and just finish Eastern. Really going to come down to that bow. Ben going for item density up here. 6 items on the east Death Mountain, plus we don't have enough health yet to do Spike Cave.
Yeah, we so hooks, yeah, because we got Hookshot Cave and we got the Super Bunny Cave. So I think going for the item density isn't that bad of an idea here either. Bo could very, very well be in Hookshot Cave or Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, and if Turtle Rock is Ether, he can dip into this dungeon with the King of Samaria. It's not uncommon for Fire Rod to be in here. Bombos is good, though. It's very, very good for Ben being locked out of that dungeon.
Oh my, yes. Hippo does have Bombo, so here's to hoping for Hippo that he's not going to have to scour the annals of Turtle Rock in order to find the thing he's looking for.
Oh, well, another sword there. That's good for both the runners. Basically means that their Ganon Tower is done at this point. Whether or not they get silvers, they don't care. But I'll admit, I'm surprised to see Hippo come up here. I thought he would double down on that Fire Rod Bombos payoff.
He could be making the check now that he has the stuff, and then maybe go back and do it, I guess. There it is. There is our bow, and that, holy cow, Hookshot Cave is a play. But
oh my god,
look at that. What if Hippo is going to be in go mode really shortly here, and Ben still has to find that Fire Rod. That 7-leaf clover in Hippo's pocket.
Hippo can lose a lot of time here by going in the Turtle Rock, though. He's opening it up. Oh, no, opening it up makes sense. You do that when you're on top. But does he go in? This will be big. Meanwhile, Ben is gonna. He's not going in. Oh my God! He's gonna be go mode.
Wow! Oh my goodness! What a go! Oh, he's going into Super Money Cave first.
This is fine. This is fine. Ben going into Pod and Eastern, exactly the play you would make. Fortunately for Ben, go moding these dungeons is not really that much different than doing the standard full clears, especially Pod. So he's not going to lose too much time here compared to Hippo doing go mode. But he's not going to find the Fire Rod. He's not going to find the Bombos, but he will be getting Crystals 4 and 5.
Oh yes, and it might be a while before Ben goes back to find the Fire Rod too, and then by then Hippo might be like right to Ganon's tower, so that's gonna be tough for Ben right there.
Well, the nice thing about the Fire Rod blocking Bombos is that there's 0 chance that Ben is going to do well. I was gonna say there's 0 chance to do. Oh my God, Hippo!
He thought about it for a minute, and I bet he's glad he took a second to think about it.
Once again, that's Hippo luck kicking in. It's like I got go mode. I'm done. I don't need to check those 2 chests. Oh well, they're right here. Might as well. And I get the butter sword. So what I was saying though is with the ice Ice Rod and Bombo's situation, there's no chance that Ben goes into ice in any state other than go mode. So that's good for him. Hippo is not going to have to do that left side swamp though. So that's some time that Ben committed, only yielded him a boomerang.
But oh my god, I'm just still in absolute awe and how much just the luck has worked for Hippo. It's like you said before. And I hope that if I go entering the fall tourney, I hope I don't have to pit my luck against Hippos.
Well, Ben is the spring champion and the fall champion from 2017. He has all of the wins. So dethroning Ben is a particularly significant accomplishment beyond making it to the top 16. And Hippo, having learned everything he knows from watching Ben, I think that's going to have some personal significance for him as well.
Oh, indeed. And there's a lot to be said about watching people play too, because that's how I personally have gotten my start. Because I started off just watching videos in the fall tournament, not even knowing how to do anything, and now I've been just working hard on it. So there's really a lot to be said about watching and learning here. I think we can all take that away from here.
Yeah, and if Ben goes back to Thieves Town and finds that fire rod, basically immediately after doing these dungeons, he doesn't have he can't get into ice, he can't get into Skull Woods. Turtle Rock and Meyer, Turtle Rock's locked out because of Bombos. Meyer doesn't have the flute, so it's either do a lot of overworld locations or go back and clear Pendant Thieves Town. And at that point, he might want to commit to finishing Pendant Thieves Town. Unfortunately for him, he actually did the pedestal check. He knows there's nothing on Ped, and a red-blue Pendant Thieves Town means that it's a little bit less desirable.
Yeah, pretty much Ben finding out there's nothing on Ped, and Hippo doesn't care right now.
Yeah, I mean, he has overworld locations he can do. I mean, he can do the blacksmith's chain, he can do the catfish. There's all of those types of things that Ben can do that will eat up more time. Hippo, not even checking the waterfall chest there. No need to. You have the butter sword, red mail, more than enough health with red mail.
Oh goodness, yes. And then both of these players are really, really familiar with silverless Ganon, so they don't even have to worry about silvers. Butter sword enough is going to be right in the bag.
So Hippo doing a regular strat kills here, having two swords above the Master Sword Ben had makes this a much easier fight though, but not doing the cool swag quick kill strat.
No ice rod for you, Argus.
Nope, and that's crystal number 5 for Hippo. I imagine he'll probably do ice next and then finish up with the Eastern Pod combo.
Yeah, and since he's already checked out Eastern, you just head right in and go. He's in go mode anyway, yeah, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely, and there's nothing he has the boots, he has the Cane of Samaria. Even though that the Cane of Samaria isn't needed in this particular seed for either Meyer or Turtle Rock, it can still be required to get items on the right side of GT. Just like we didn't need the boots for the Desert Torch, but we could still need it for the GT Torch. He's got all the contingency items though. So, there's nothing else that he needs. That's normally where you say a player might still need to get this 1 in 22 chance or 6 in 22, but he's got everything.
It's a great relief when you're in that go mode and you don't have to worry about it. And even with Hippo's luck at this point, even if he didn't, the big key would probably not be on one of those locations where you do need Samaria or the boots. So, 8-leaf clover.
Exactly. I mean, getting the go mode, ice and swamp and pod. He did double dip Skull Woods and Eastern, so you can't really call those go modes. But still, it's 48 minutes in.
Yeah, and I mean, being able to go mode Swamp and Ice Palace, that is like a dream. So that's like a dream for any runner. So that's really, really good news for Hippo right there.
There is crystal number 4 for Ben. Full clears Palace of Darkness. This will be his first trip into Eastern. This is time that Hippo is already committed to this dungeon. Not a very time-consuming dungeon, so this will be a pretty quick crystal to pick up as well. Where Ben goes next is really going to be important.
It intrigues me on where it's gonna go, and that Ice Palace bomb jump first try, lovely.
Yeah, if that takes you more than 2 tries in the top. It's actually, it says top 16, but this is the last top 32 race.
Yeah, and for all the newer runners watching, Ice Palace bomb jump is probably one of the first tricks you want to teach yourself. It might not be the easiest one, but it's the most vital to making sure you get a good time.
Well, it saves having to do all of Ice Palace. It's probably the single most important bomb jump in the game as far as pure time savings is concerned. You'll also see in an NMG run, bomb jumps to get like the Hera big chest and things like that. But Ice Palace bomb jump is probably the first one that you'll actually really practice.
Ben making quick work of those Stalfos there in the room, and Bombos time. Time for Cold Stare to get a hot foot.
It's a little bit of a safety there. Bombos is a tad bit slower than using the Fire Rod, and with the Butter Sword, you don't need to save the magic. But, if you miss even one Fire Rod shot, you're going to have to use a blue potion. But
not a bad safety.
There we go. Yep, that's Crystal 5 for Hippo, and he's got everything he needs to get 6 and 7. Meanwhile, Ben's working his way through Eastern. This will be a pretty quick Crystal 5 for him, but he does not have the ability to get to either Skullwoods or Ice Palace.
Oh, I always hate when I mirror bonk like that. That's always annoying. I feel for Hippo there. Nice bit of routing there from Hippo. Not bothering to save and quit, just taking that quick way over the Eastern there. Not something you see often, just because the routing doesn't tend to allow it.
Yeah, without the flute, this really was the optimal order for him to complete those dungeons. He was able to walk from swamp to ice, and then from ice to pod, and the mirror to Eastern. No save and quits in here. Hopefully he won't have a console crash, because he hasn't saved in quite a while. But I don't think with Hippo luck, your console is. I don't think it can even crash. It's like an invincible console.
Yeah, I mean, with Hippo's luck, he could have it on, and like 100 years later, we could still see like the game he was playing after his death or something.
Yeah, Hippo's like those people that haven't had to replace a light bulb in 40 years.
I wonder if I can learn to siphon some of his luck. That would help me out a lot.
Yeah, I'm not trying to jinx him. He's jinx proof.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't jinx the man with a 9-leaf clover, okay?
All right. So last item on Armos was a 10 bomb capacity upgrade. That is good for Ben. He doesn't want to see the flute. Doesn't want to get into the mire area. Being locked out of Turtle Rock and Mire is really, really good for Ben. So at this point, it's, Overworld checks or Thieves Town. Do we finish Thieves Town or do we do Smiths and Catfish? I'm not even sure where I'm going to guess he's going to go.
Oh, let's see. I'm very curious myself.
I think this is going to be a pyramid and catfish check.
I wouldn't be surprised, but we of course know that it's not the right one. It's a good idea, but unfortunately, we know it's not the one that needs to be taken.
And that big key layout in Palace of Darkness is almost God mode. All he needs is just the big key and the small key, and he can skip all the dark maze, the whole back of Pod.
Oh, and he's got that key already, so he's gonna jump right into the thick of it here. This is beautiful. This is working out so beautiful for Hippo. It's like this seed wants him to win.
Just a red rupee there. We saw yesterday it all came down to that desert sequence break, and this game has come down to checking one more location in Thieves Town. This is what I love about Randomizer, when your games are really, really decided by significant routing decisions. It's not just a linear execution seed. It's not a troll seed where you were just looking for the ice rod and you had to check 30 different places and whoever got lucky won. This was an actual real decision that paid off.
And those are always the exciting ones there. It's one of those classic, do you full clear a dungeon, or do you just kind of nope out once you get to a certain point? And sometimes that pays off and sometimes it doesn't. So you really can't fault either decision, though, because either one could be a good decision to make.
I think a lot of people, if not most people, would, if they find the mitts in a red-blue Pendant Thieves Town, would be like, okay, I dipped Pendant Thieves. Pendant Thieves has to have value. That's the meme, and I got my value.
Oh, but it had more value in it this time, and now we are on Mr. Helmasaur.
Yeah, both of these runners are definitely friends. If you look at Hippo's Twitch page, it even says, don't sub at my page, go sub at Ben's page.
But I say you should go follow the runners, both of them anyway, because they're both fantastic. So definitely keep an eye on them. I know if you haven't watched enough Ben, definitely check out Ben, because he is phenomenal. And Hippo himself, come on, don't be so modest, guy. You're great yourself.
Like I said, I got into watching. Ben was one of the first Twitch streamers I watched, following his amazing 8-hour Final Fantasy VII run. He does a lot of other games, Final Fantasy 1, 6, 7, 10, Chrono Trigger, Zelda, of course. It's a lot of just amazing skill. Hippo, I think, mostly does just Zelda, but that's obviously time well spent, because he's probably most likely going to get to the top 16 from all that practice. Ben,
oh goodness, yes, and
doing hammer pegs. So Ben is still looking. I'm sorry. Rick, go ahead.
I was gonna say he's checking all the other stuff, but I have a feeling he might dip back into there pretty quickly now. And yep, that's just what I thought.
Well, at this point, I think he just had the purple chest over there. So there's more items in Thieves Town, and you want to do Thieves Town first. That it saves you having to re-enter the Dark World. I'm pretty sure you can actually leave the purple chest sitting right outside the dungeon and go clear Thieves Town.
I haven't tried that yet, but that's good to know, actually.
Yeah, I think I remember Christos explaining, like, they had to do something with the purple chest to make it so it wouldn't lock you out. I forget what it was, but I seem to remember it. This is going to give Ben his fire rod in a few minutes once he gets down to the maiden chest in the Thieves Town basement. But that's going to be go mode at the same time Hippo is picking up his 7th crystal. And it's just about time to start that big key guessing game with crystal number 7 here. as you guys all know, you get to pick a number between 1 and 22, representing where you think in Ganon's Tower the big key is going to be. And if you are a subscriber or have donated 250 bits or more to a Speed Gaming channel, then you can be added to the leaderboard. And that is running now, and it will stop once Hippo enters Ganon's Tower, and all the chest numbers will be based off of Hippo's routing.
All other runners-up will, courtesy of Dr. Bobtastic, will receive a coupon to a free ice cream at Cold Steer Creamery. Tasty, tasty ice cream.
That's much better than the free seeds that Dr. Bobtastic usually gives away.
Well, I got the coupons, but I didn't ask for them. Yeah, we'll go with that. Anyway, and there's this fire run.
That's go mode for Ben at 1 hour 5 minutes. Actually not too far behind. Just needs to kill Mothula and then do go mode Ice Palace. Not going to pick up the bombos, not going to pick up anything else. But Hippo about to enter into the tower is definitely Hippo's game to lose. It's going to take some significant execution issues on Hippo's part to catch up a 2-dungeon disadvantage.
So, just out of curiosity, Tira, where do you think the big key's at in GT?
I'm going to say it's in the right side because they haven't got really a chance to use that Cane of Samaria for anything. They've had it the entire game. I want to see it get used.
I'm just going to go with my usual number 8 if my Kokam doesn't pick it. Only because, I don't know, I just like that room, and I haven't seen it pop up yet in any of my comms, so I'm kind of hoping to siphon a little Hippo luck and maybe get what I want this time.
Yeah, entering Ganon's Tower, 1 hour and 6 minutes. This is just absolutely insane.
And Quake in number 1, Key in number 2. And Hippo is going right side, so yeah, that's definitely a valid idea to make there.
Yeah, and I really don't think that there's any way that Hippo feels he's behind at this point. The plays that he made that didn't pay off were plays that Ben had to do anyway, like Desert Area first. And committing to Thieves Town, I think he's got to feel really comfortable about that.
I don't blame him. And like you said, too, the Cane of Samaria hasn't come into play any. So this could probably be the reason it came into play.
We're coming up on chests. There's number 3 is the Cane of Burna. 4 is a Red Rupee. And 5 is the Big Key. So he actually did pick up the half magic there at number 6. Once again, if he continues on, that extra chest gives him what he needs.
And right side working out, so congratulations. If you guessed number 5, if you were the first, then you are our winner.
Congratulations, Lakaktar. So it's just like Hookshot Cave. I mean, Hippo's like, I'm going to do one more chest. Oh, there's Buttersword. And I'm going to do one more chest. There's Half Magic.
There's that 10-leaf clover coming into play that Hippo has.
I like that you're adding 2 every time.
I'm glad you noticed that. Thank you.
So Hippo's got to be really careful here. He is out of arrows. There's 5 under that pot. He needs 4 to kill these mimics. So only 1 arrow to spare. Get super careful with those BMOSs. He knows he needs to take his time.
Yeah, this is rough right here.
Oh, missed an arrow.
This is where with those red mimics spitting is such a dirty habit.
There's 1, there's 2. Oh my god, just made it.
Oh gosh, my goodness, that was almost a disaster right there for Hippo.
How many leaves are we up to now, Rick?
We're up to 11 now.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, I mean, like, I think I'm going to ask the first question for Hippo in the interview is probably, can I have some of your luck, please?
Hippo doesn't share his luck.
Yeah, I figured so, but I figured it might be like Hobo asking for spare change. Maybe I'll get lucky.
So we did get a 5-arrow drop there, which means that he's probably going to find silvers in one of the remaining 4 chests, so he can take advantage of those 5 arrows.
Watch him check the chest in Moldorm 2, and it's silver arrows. Just watch it. Come on.
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to go one further. He'll check that chest after not checking the 3 before it.
Yeah, I know, right? That's just how it works with Hippo.
So Hippo having enough magic here, only because he picked up that half magic. Ben going into his cold stare fight. Definitely keep an eye on Ben's side here. He's got the butter sword. No bombos, so we need the 8 fire rod shots, but this is going to be another really fast, really sweet cold stare kill. Flawless. Three swipes in the corner. And that is the 7th crystal for Ajneb.
And beautiful second Wizrobe room with the Cane of Samaria. That I always say it every match, but that is a tough one.
It's all those rooms are really tricky without the boots. You're fighting muscle memory. Boots and Sanctuary chest. It's a great place to find them. I mean, they had the mirror. My first question is for Hippo is, why didn't you mirror after getting Zelda?
Well, that's a good point there too. But I think with the Hippo luck there, he got the bombs. I mean, that helped him a ton, I think.
All right, so checking. Oh, there's one chest, just a piece of heart. Skips the other one. That's on the right side of the room. I don't want to walk all the way over there.
12 and a half leaf clover. He gets another heart container out of it and a health refill.
Oh my! What the? No!
Well, I didn't quite call it in the right place, but hey, next to last was a good guess now, wasn't it?
And he's got 5 arrows!
What is this? Seriously, Tiru, what is this?
So, he's gonna miss one shot, or... Oh my... Oh, jeez.
That's a 14-leaf clover now, okay?
He's gonna go for a triple. He's gonna miss one shot. It's gonna ding, and then he's gonna get a double. I'm just calling it now.
I'm dying over here. Oh my god.
This is just, oh my, Hippo, man, Hippo.
All right, if I have to fight Hippo in the next tournament, I'm just gonna forfeit right on the menu screen. I know what's coming now.
11 billion leaf clover. That seems about right.
Well, I get a nice shining poo emoji. And Ben also taking the right side play too. Good idea for him.
Yeah, I like the GT route. Going and Ben entering GT at like an hour 11 minutes. It's a great time, but he might be feeling behind given that TR double dip. Everything else lined up just so nicely in the seed. Despite this time, he still might be feeling it.
I think that Space Cadet glow is that glowing aura of luck around Hippo, Ganon. I think you really should just watch yourself.
Yeah, well, Butter Sword, you just need 6 slashes. You don't even need to do a spin. So he is already into phase 3. Ben does have his big key though, so he's making his way up the tower. Definitely keep an eye on Ben's screen because you will see this this god mode execution going up the gauntlet. Ben does a beautiful gauntlet. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, I've watched Ben's matches before on the Speed Gaming channel on YouTube when I first started off, and I was always very, very impressed with him.
Yeah, I was watching Kyung's match last night, and we're talking about people who are like, Kyung, Ben, Christos, Andy, the people who are just like really, really like execution masters. Hippo using that silver arrow. No need for torch glitch. Actually gets you a better setup if you don't use it. Going for another single. He's saving those arrows. He's being cautious.
I don't blame him for playing conservatively, and he's got plenty of time to play conservatively. So, I mean, he could even fall to Ganon, I think, and still be fine here. But doesn't have to worry about it. It is game over for Ganon and a complete GG for Hippo right here. My God, that's probably the second fastest clear I've personally seen in this tournament.
Yeah, I've seen. There's been a couple sub 110s, but that is amazing, and that is a progression into. Let's bring him in. GG's Hippo, amazing race. I got to scroll up forever to find your official time here. Hour, 15 minutes and 18 seconds. Just unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, can I borrow that 15-leaf clover that's in your pocket?
Sure.
Hey, sweet Tiru, I knew I'd get it. But no, seriously, man, that was phenomenal. GG to you personally. Wow, that was incredible, man.
Sorry, I don't have much to say right now. Thank you for doing the restream and commentary and stuff. I don't know. Do you have any questions? I don't have anything.
And that's all right. You had a tough race. If you want to call it a day, then we understand.
I just don't feel bad. That's all. Keep going, please.
But
why don't we we'll let Ben finish up here, and if you want to hang out in Twitch chat instead, Hippo, then that's absolutely fine. But
no, I couldn't touch Twitch chat with the 10-foot pole right now. Thanks, though.
But yeah, feel free to just hang out with us if you want to, and if you have a comment you want to make, if you got any feelings you want to talk about, I mean, feel free to. It's the floor is yours when you want it.
I've said it a few times before. I was laid up after recovering from a surgery, and I was laying on my couch for an extended amount of time, and I got to watch Ben doing the spring tournament, and I had never played Link to the Past before, and watching him just inspired me to want to do that and play, and starting from an emulator, then going to buy hardware and making the commitment. And he has helped me every single step of the way. Even today, in his own stream, knowing that we were going into a game 3, we were talking about optimizations and things like that. And he's just such a wonderful guy. If like the entire, I mean, he's a 2-time champion, and he should be more. Anyone who's not following him in this whole chat is making a massive mistake, and it should be fixed immediately.
Well, we do have an official forfeit on the record from Ben, but he's finishing out the match. Meanwhile, we can have him join us in chat. Ben, it was a pleasure as always to watch that play. Unfortunately, not able to progress to win this particular tournament. But you have plenty of wins under your belt, and your student Hippo gets to progress, so that's got to feel good too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's all fine. I don't mind it at all. GG, Hippo.
GG, bud.
Yeah, you both played amazingly well, and it's just honestly on my end where I've been like practicing and maybe joining the next tournament. This has definitely been like an awe-inspiring race to not only watch but be able to come. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Noise. Thank you.
Yeah, it's always frustrating when friends have to play each other, especially after a multi-month race. But I think I heard you say somewhere, Ben, that you were considering not even doing the tournament early on.
Yeah, I was thinking for a really long time about not joining it. I feel like I joined it just because I felt I had to, because I won the last two. I actually did not really want to join it. I would just wanted to do a little bit less rando at the time. I mean, I joined it and I had to play it, so I did. But yeah, I lost, but it's fine.
I mean, he didn't even get to play for 3/4 of this tournament, so it
Yeah.
really wasn't exactly a good situation. But I know the tournament admins do their best.
Yeah, I felt really weird into a tourney because you had the longest Swiss round ever, and I wasn't qualified for it, so I didn't play them. So you don't play a tourney, and you don't really feel part of it because you don't have any matches. And then I have my first match, then my second opponent is dropping out, unfortunately. So it's even less match for me. And then we have SGDQ, and we have a break, and then we come back and we play. It was, I don't know, I don't feel like I was part of the tourney, and I'm not anymore, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I remember during the bracket announcements, there were a couple people where it was always who's going to have to play against this person. Andy, Christos, the standards, and then you had a loss in round one, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, it's somebody beat Ben." But Hippos went, as far as I'm concerned, Hippos, I said this in the stream too, went essentially undefeated prior to this race because the round 7 Swiss was just goofing off. So to be able to win 2-1 here, it's just. I watched your race yesterday, and Hippo, you explained your tactic of doing things that you did not expect Ben to do. Went to desert a little bit earlier. Didn't use the mirror to escape from Zelda's cell, which got you an 8-bomb drop.
That's not a strategy. that was the dumbest thing in the world.
Wow.
That's I was telling Ben in the chat, like, mirroring out of escape is one of my favorite things to do, because you get out of escape and it's like 4 minutes something, and I didn't even, and then I checked my menu when I went to go throw the bomb and said, oh my god, did you really not do that?
Yeah.
I bombed the first time, so it was good for you.
I think it maybe evened out then.
Probably.
I thought it was awesome just how well that ended up working out for you.
Oh, we were talking about it, and that was just basically when we were doing the recap from yesterday and saying, like, Hippo's going to do something Ben's not likely to do. And I was like, okay, well, pretty good chance Ben wasn't going to do this, walk out of escape.
Yeah, I hope nobody does that, because that's about as stupid as he gets.
You got that 8-bomb drop off the guards, and that basically set the tone of your luck throughout this race.
Oh yeah, that was the setup the whole time. That's the strat.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm just memeing.
Was your decision to full clear Thieves Town, did you feel that was a gamble at the time?
Sort of. I felt like either decision was a gamble at that point. It felt like a bit of a game deciding gamble. I was actually going to skip it altogether at first and try that gamble. And I walked through it and said, nah, let's not. Let's just do first 4. We got mirror. It'll be nice and quick. Quick 4 chests. Faster than the chests that you're going to check in the overworld even. And then I got 3 junk items from first 4, and I just couldn't find the guts to leave. It felt dumb.
I did.
Sorry, bud.
I felt kind of behind, and I mean, we were only, well, most likely we were only 2 items left from go mode, so I was like, we have swamp, we have desert. I mean, that's a lot of item. I could get like fire rod and the bow and then going somewhere else. Didn't really happen that way. But well.
So I haven't punned enough yet, but I guess not leaving Thieves Town, it was kind of driving at bananas to see what else was there, wasn't it?
Hashtag Cove jokes.
And
And now I am
Rick
a
ruins a
pariah.
perfectly good race. But I like the tribute banana there, Hippo. That's always swag. We were praising your 120 collection rate yesterday, but you managed to beat that with a 112. I did want to ask you, after you got the fire rod, you quickly did skull and you found that Bombos was fire rod locked. So you knew that was going to be your only access into Ice Palace. I at the time I thought you might just double down on that gamble and do ice, but you did Hookshot Cave and found the bow instead. What were you thinking with your routing at that point?
I was thinking with the early ice rod that the seed was telling us we had to go into Turtle Rock, possibly having Bo on Trinex himself. The other thing is having 2 medallions at that point. Then you just get the mitts, and you're thinking, well, let's check to see if either of those medallions are Turtle. It felt like Turtle Rock. I was trying to make the bow on Laser Bridge play, basically.
I don't blame you on that one, because if I had that seed, I probably would have been thinking the same thing, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to check the chest on the way in before you go in, just in case. Not really expecting much. Found the sword, first sword on the way in, thinking, oh, that's fantastic. That'll help on Trinex. And then, okay, sudden bow.
Yeah, you had several moments in this game. You got the bow, and then you're like, I'm going to save and quit. I'll check one more sword. Oh, I get butter. And in Ganon's Tower, you get the big key. I'll check one more chest, and I get half magic.
Well, I didn't have any keys, I think, when I got the big key, right? I had to go get the other key, to get one small key to go up with that. So it made sense to check for the half magic. Finding the silvers was a whole escapade of stupid. I really didn't have much brain cells left at that time. And all of a sudden Silver shows up, and I said, I cannot fathom. Well, I actually know exactly what chat's going to say about that. And yeah, whatever.
Well, you did run into a lot of difficulties with the red mimics there, using exactly your last arrow to get through that room.
Yeah, I was being very paranoid. Last thing I want to do is run out of arrows and then run around trying to find some more. That really costs time. Yoho would make fun of me for that for a long time.
Fortunately for your routing, Ben, you were locked out of both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire, so none of those led you in the wrong direction. Other than this part of the Smith's chain and the extra time in Palace of Darkness, I don't think that the fire rod really cost you too much.
I don't know. Well, I think if I've done Thieves the first time, it would have probably changed a lot in the routing, because getting, obviously more stuff to check. But I don't know. If I went back earlier to Thieves thinking, there's still 3 items, I should go check that, because maybe Hippo did it. But I don't really think about that. I was thinking that he would have skipped it the first time and come back later, but just earlier than me, because I kind of did it late.
That's completely understandable. You already had your name in the game twice, so I don't know if you have anything else to say, but as this wraps up your tournament run for the spring, any final thoughts?
No, thanks for commentaries, thanks for tracking, thanks for stream as always. Good job, everyone. Good luck to every runner, and there will be a new champ.
I hope it's Christos.
Yeah.
Well played, Ben, and it's been a pleasure as always to both watch and commentate this race. Hippo, moving on to top 16, you'll be facing the amazing Ampharos. I was looking at the records. Ben beat out AA in the last spring tournament, and you're ahead in this one. How you feeling about going up against AA?
Last time I raced AA in the fall, we had one of the craziest seeds that I've ever seen, and I've watched that race back like 5 or 6 times now, just trying to learn from it, and I look forward to racing him again. He's a very high-quality opponent and knows more about this game than anyone probably should be allowed to.
I missed that one in the fall, so it's good that you've had some tournament experience going up against him before. I know he's done a lot in the development side as well. You see his name in the credits.
Yeah, no, he's as good of a runner as he is a dev, so it's gonna be I'm in the same boat that I was for this round, basically.
Well, I wish you luck in top 16. Before I wrap things up, Hippo, any final thoughts?
I don't know if you heard me earlier, Ben, but like I said in chat, thank you so much. Really,
I did not.
I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, man. I'd give you a hug right now if I could.
Yeah, I know your hugs.
You can go ahead and make that dirty in Discord if you want to. That's fair.
You guys are both great guys. I did say this earlier, but I'll just say it again. Wrapping up. Ben was the first Twitch streamer that I regularly started watching, following your SUDQ Final Fantasy run. That kind of got me into watching these games. So I've always been a fan there. Your execution is just legendary, and it was a pleasure to watch. Hippo, we've never had any one-on-one races, but every weekly community race that I've ever been in, you've been first or second. So your skills are unquestioned, and it's been great to see both of you guys play here. There are links in chat to follow both Ben and Hippos. Taking a look at the schedule for the rest of the day, we have one more race, which is the top 16 race. All that's left are top 16s at this point. 9 p.m. EDT, that's a little over 3 hours from now. Unfit versus Gloin, that is their first match, and that'll be on ALTTP Randomizer. It's the one, but there's no one, it's just ALTTP Randomizer. So I recommend that you guys check out those things as well. I gotta thank the Speed Gaming staff for doing the restream here. So many people in Twitch chat for showing their support for the wonderful runners Ben and Hippo. OSS Geek for tracking, and my co-commentator Rick. It's been a pleasure as always. And the last words go to you, sir.
Oh, absolutely. I think you took a lot of my words there, but definitely Tiru. Always glad to commentate with you, and thanks for letting me. I'm glad we got to do it again. Basically, I'm still at a loss for words. It's just how amazing and awe-inspiring this, just watching this match was. So it was great to be able to calm with you, and definitely thanks to Ben and Hippo for providing us with a fantastic match here, and also a big shout out to chat. Always love for chat. Thank you so much. We would not be here without you. And this is Rick signing off. Please continue to watch. We have got some more fantastic stuff your way. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.